General Prepware, Ground Operations and Servicing. A hung start in a jet engine is often caused by the starter cutting off too soon. How is a flooded engine, equipped with a float-type carburetor, cleared of excessive fuel? Crank the engine with the starter or by hand, with the mixture control and cutoff, ignition switch off, and the throttle fully open until the fuel charge has been cleared. Characteristics of detonation are rapid rise in cylinder pressure, excessive cylinder head temperature, and a decrease in engine power. When taxiing or towing an aircraft, an alternating red and green light from the control tower means okay to proceed, but use extreme caution. Which of the following is the most satisfactory extinguishing agent for use on a carburetor or intake fire? Carbon dioxide. When taxiing or towing an aircraft, a flashing red light from the control tower means move clear of the runway, taxiway immediately. Tetraethyl lead is added to aviation gasoline to improve the gasoline's performance in the engine. Jet fuel number identifiers are type numbers and have no relation to the fuel's performance in the aircraft engine. A fuel that vaporizes too readily may cause vapor lock. Weather vaning tendency is greatest when taxiing a tailwind-type airplane in a direct crosswind. A person should approach or leave a helicopter in the pilot's field of vision whenever the engine is running in order to avoid the tail rotor. When approaching the rear of an idling turbojet or turbofan engine, the hazard area extends aft of the engine approximately 100 feet. If a hot start occurs during starting of a turbine power plant, what is the likely cause? The fuel-air mixture was excessively rich. When towing a large aircraft, a person should be in the cockpit to operate the brakes. Why is ethylene dibromide added to aviation gasoline? To scavenge lead oxide from the cylinder combustion chambers. If a fire develops in an engine during the starting procedure, you should continue cranking to start the engine and extinguish the fire. Characteristics of aviation gasoline are high heat value, high volatility. The main differences between grades 100 and 100 LL fuel are lead content and color. During starting of a turbine power plant, which statement is true regarding tie-down of small aircraft? Nylon or Dacron rope is preferred to manila rope. Generally, when an induction fire occurs during starting of a reciprocating engine, the first course of action should be to continue cranking and start the engine if possible. Which statement below reflects a typical requirement when towing some aircraft? If the aircraft has a steerable nose wheel, the torque link lock should be set to full swivel. What must accompany fuel vaporization? An absorption of heat. Using a compressed air starter, a hung start occurred. Select the proper procedure. Shut the engine down. Refer to Figure 51. Which marshalling signal should be given if a taxiing aircraft is in imminent danger of striking an object? 3. A fuel that does not vaporize readily enough can cause hard starting. What effect, if any, will aviation gasoline mixed with jet fuel have on a turbine engine? The tetraethyl lead in the gasoline forms deposits on the turbine blades. When approaching the front of an idling jet engine, the hazard area extends forward of the engine approximately 25 feet. The priming of a fuel-injected horizontally opposed engine is accomplished by placing the fuel control lever in the full rich position. When taxiing an airplane with a quartering tailwind, the elevators and upwind aileron should be held in the down position. The color of 100 LL fuel is blue. When first starting to move an aircraft while taxiing, it is important to test the brakes. Number 1. Jet fuel is of higher viscosity than aviation gasoline and therefore holds contaminants better. Number 2. Viscosity has no relation to contamination of fuel. Regarding the above statements, only number 1 is true. Refer to Figure 50. Identify the signal to engage rotor on a rotorcraft. 3. If a radial engine has been shut down for more than 30 minutes, the propeller should be rotated through at least 2 revolutions to check for hydraulic lock. How are aviation fuels, which possess greater anti-knock qualities than 100 octane, classified? By performance numbers. When starting and ground operating an aircraft's engine, the aircraft should be positioned to head into the wind primarily for engine cooling purposes. Which of the following conditions has the most potential for causing engine damage when starting or attempting to start a turbine engine? Hot start. When stopping a nose-wheel type airplane after taxiing or towing, the nose wheel should be left pointed straight ahead. When taxiing or towing an aircraft, a flashing white light from the control tower means return to starting point. The most important condition to be monitored during start after fuel flow begins in a turbine engine is the EGT, TIT, or ITT. Both gasoline and kerosene have certain advantages for use as turbine fuel. Which statement is true in reference to the advantages of each? Kerosene has a higher heat energy / value per unit volume than gasoline.